Hello, it's Harold, HARKfpv. Thanks for coming back to the channel. This week I'm doing a gear review, which is not a review of someone else's gear. It's just a review of the gear that I have. My channel basis is about going out and exploring places I've never been and coming back and showing everybody where I went. And hopefully they're one of the places that you send me. So you can send me to a place that there's so many cool, beautiful places out there, and I love to be deep in the woods and waterfalls and hot springs and just cool plateaus and wildflowers and high mountain lakes. I love it all. So this is a review of the gear that I carry currently, and I know I need to upgrade a lot, but life is about forever upgrading. And I'm just going to go over the gear that I have, the gear that I like to use, and I'm sure I'll make some adjustments to it over time, especially in the camera department. But let's get going. So the first thing I have to show you is my goggles. Oh, here they are. So these are my goggles. I have Omway Commanders, and the Omway Commanders are they're decent goggles. The goggle game has changed so much since I bought these a couple years ago, that I definitely want to get some DJI or some Orcas, or at least get a long range patch and just be able to fly a little bit further away. This just isn't doing the job. But also when I go out and fly, these goggles, by the way, this is a first-person view goggles. So I use these goggles and I wear them when I fly, and it gives me a live feed from the camera on one of my drones, so I can see exactly what it's doing, and it's just a first-person view. That's what FPV is. But it's really fun to go out and show people when you're flying, while you're flying. I've taken friends out before and go, hey, let's go fly the drones. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And then they sit and watch blankly as you fly around because they don't get to see what you're seeing. So I need another pair of goggles, a really good pair of goggles. And actually, I need two, at least. But these are my Omway Commanders, and they'll get me through, the indoor stuff and park shoots and a little bit of out in the wild. And they've got me this far, whatever they are. I do have to wear my contacts when I wear them until I have some diopters or something in there. But anyway, so those are my goggles. And real quick, this is one of my cameras. This is the camera from my 5-inch. I guess I'll go over that later. I'll just put that right on top of my 5-inch drone. So those are the goggles, and this is the first drone I got. You might recognize this. It's a Mavic Pro, and it's just nice and compact. I bought this because it does fold up and it's easy to pack. And I thought we could make drones a better big game scout. And people ask me about it all the time. Is it a big game scout? Can you scout game with it? And I've tried it. I have video of it. Maybe I'll show you some. In fact, I should have my whole self off screen by now, showing you cool video. But that is really what got me started in drones. And the first video I ever did, it's on YouTube somewhere. It was the Salmon Dam. Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool shoot. But it was just idiot proof. And I've tried every Christmas. I would get one of those stupid helicopters from the mall, and I'm so excited to be a good pilot, and I crashed it, and I couldn't fix it, and I couldn't find parts, and it just faded away. And by Super Bowl, I was no longer a pilot, even in my mind. But once I saw what they could do with the Mavic, and really my first drone was a Parrot Mambo. And the Parrot Mambo was just sitting at the AT&T store, and it says, hey, this hooks right to your phone. So I go bloop, 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 and I'm like, oh look, I can fly a drone. Wow, that's pretty easy. And so I bought it and I flew it around as much as I could up and down the stairs practicing. And once I had done that, I knew I was hooked pretty bad. And I got the Mavic Pro. But I soon, very soon realized the limitations of the drone. And I knew that I wanted to fly a really cool racing drone like this one. This is my 5-inch. That's what they say the props have a 5-inch span. So this is my flyer. Now it can articulate a little bit better, but I knew I wasn't going to. I knew I was going to suck. I'd bought the helicopters before, and I knew there was so much more to flying when it comes to FPV. So what I did was I bought a Tyrannus, which is just a controller, and I got DRL, Drone Racing League Simulator, which was really, really cool. And somebody else talked me into going to the Velocidrone, which I think Steele Davis used. And so I've been following Steele Davis for a long time. I really like the way he flies. So I stuck with the Velocidrone, and I've been doing that since. In fact, that's where my Tyrannus is now. It's upstairs because I was simming yesterday with it. And I still do a lot of simming because I need a lot of practice. Once I was ready for FPV flight, I got a Baby Hawk. And this is a 3-inch drone. It's not quite the Baby Hawk. The Baby Hawk was much smaller. In fact, the Baby Hawk was it 1.5 inch? Like 1.5 inch, and it just zip. It was really slow. I felt, and I upped it to a 2-inch drone. I ordered the extra arms and some more props, and immediately I was like, oh, that's great. Then I went to fly it, and I sucked so bad I just crashed it straight into trees and into the ground and ruined it, couldn't fix it, and it just sucked. And I went back to the simulator for a few more months. And then I bought another Baby Hawk and practiced a ton of that. I won't show you the footage because it's just DVR. It's just DVR, and you see kind of what I see in my goggles, and it's scratchy, and it's not very fun to watch. Not, at least not for me. So then my next build was my 5-inch, was a big racer. I'm a big boy now. Look at me. Well, at least that's what I'd like to think. But these stupid things pop out of here. And I couldn't even afford a decent camera. Most of the footage that I have was recorded on a GoPro Hero 3 that my buddy Tony gave me. I finally got this $100 jobber here, and it does okay. It's a run cam, and it does everything I can. Of course I want to upgrade. Life is about upgrades, and I want to get the GoPro Hero 7 or 8 or whatever they're on with the stabilizing. As far as the gear inside the drone goes, I don't know that much about it. I know I have your TBS long range. I knew when I did the build, I knew I was going to want to do some longer range stuff. And my VTX, it's a TBS Unify, but my goggles I think are part of the problem there. And it's a 5S. So I've changed the motors out. I had different motors. I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I really screwed this thing up before I even flew it. And but it was a ton of fun to build, and you learn a lot. And now that I've done it, I'm like, okay, yeah, we can throw something together. And I have parts scattered all over here. Possibilities. So this is the one when you watch the bando stuff, the Montana bando, the Nevada bando, any of the bigger outdoor flights were done with this drone, and I've made changes to it since. I've got new boards, and I've crashed it so many times. I got a new camera, and a couple new arms. You probably can't tell that these arms are different thickness, but they are. Anyway, so I really like that, but this has limitations too. This 5-inch drone has limitations, and those limitations are legal. So I wanted a way around those legal limitations. I wanted to be able to fly at night. I wanted to be able to fly where you're not, I don't know, not supposed to fly, where drones just aren't allowed. And I'm definitely not looking at breaking any laws. But we did have this rigged up as a Cinewhoop. I took the shrouds off of it to lighten it up, and I threw a run cam split in here. And the run cam split, I think, is basically the same camera as this guy. This is a run cam, and this is a run cam split in here. But it keeps it feeds video straight to my goggles, but it also feeds it to an SD card, which fits back over here somewhere. And this is really great. It's less than 250 grams, so you don't need a 107 to fly it. You can fly it at night. You can fly it over people. I mean, I'm not saying you should. I'm saying that these are some of the restrictions that we come up against. And flying at night is one of those things. I like the Christmas lights, and some of the things that happen at night are fun. And they're drone worthy, but I really don't want to get in trouble. And so I do a lot of smaller, close to me shoots with this and the little run cam split. And I'll upgrade this too. They're coming out with some really, really good drones that have recording capabilities on them. And so far, this is one of my favorites. This is the Mobula 7 HD. And it's so tiny. And I FPV'd a wedding with this. I FPV playgrounds, and the kids can even be in the playground. My kid can. I don't want to mess with other people's kids. But and you can see I actually broke a prop. These have shrouds around the props, and I hit a playground. I was in a playground just flying around, and I managed to break a prop, and I couldn't find it to save my life. Anyway. So those, and I love indoor shoots. This is the indoor guy. They make drones just a little bit bigger than this. So bigger than this, but smaller than this, to do stuff like indoor shoots and to fly at night. And this one doesn't do so good outside in the wind. If you get it up above buildings or something, it'll really get blown around. And that's why this comes in handy, because it's a little bit heavier and much more powerful, much more powerful motors. I think I can fly up to 4S on this. I think I like to fly 3 or just 4S, a very small 4S. There's a 4S 850 on here now. I know, I barely even know what that means. And the way it's going, most of these drones in 5 years are all going to be not manufactured by me, probably. Because they have to have the FAA here in America is making some rules and regulations about what you can and can't do with aircraft, which makes sense. But these smaller ones, so far, not subject to the FAA. But this little guy, really good for indoor shoots. We can just poke around, and I'm going to do some indoor shoots. It has been snowing. And it's been awful weather for the past week, and I haven't had a chance to get out and fly. And I really want to get out and fly some parks. It's the winter time, so I really can't get too far out of doors. But I like indoor shoots. I have a couple indoor flights, just indoor goofing around. Because you can go into some restaurants and just fly under tables and just look all around, and it's really fun. I really like my Mobula 7 HD. So that's it, I think. That's the gear review. That's my gear anyway. And it's not super fancy. I'll try to get some more goggles so that when I do go out, and if I go to a spot you pick, then hopefully you can come with me and you can wear goggles and not be wondering what's happening until after you see the video. So next week I have the story and the video of the first. I don't know if it's the first. It certainly was my first Pine Bridge base jump. I live in Twin Falls, Idaho. The Pine Bridge spans the Snake River Canyon. The Snake River Canyon is almost 500 feet from the edge of the bridge to the water. And base jumpers come from all over the world. You don't need a permit. You don't need to ask anybody. You show up and you jump off the bridge. This is Idaho. You want to hurt yourself, go right ahead. We're definitely not a nanny state. So people come in from all over the place and they just jump. Some people move to Twin Falls just because they can have access to the Pine Bridge. And I met a whole bunch of them, but the first one I met, it's just a hysterical story. To me it is. It's a crazy story about meeting Jester and the first time I captured a base jumper jumping off the Pine Bridge. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.